In every mansion, truth hides behind golden doors. But sometimes, wisdom enters dressed in rags. Mary Johnson stood before the grand mirror in her penthouse suite, carefully removing her diamond earrings one by one. Her reflection showed a woman of 63 years, elegant and sharp-eyed, but what troubled her tonight wasn't age, it was fear. Fear for her only son. She picked up a worn-gray uniform from the bed, running her fingers across the coarse fabric. Tomorrow she would become someone else entirely. Tom, she whispered to herself, I will not let them destroy you. Her son, Thomas Johnson III, heir to a billion-dollar empire, owner of the most prestigious law firm in the city, had everything except the one thing money couldn't buy: genuine love. Woman after woman had paraded through his life, each more beautiful than the last, each with emptier eyes and hungrier hands. Mary had watched them all. She'd seen how they looked at Tom's penthouse, his cars, his watches. Never at his heart. So she made a decision that would change everything. The next morning, the law firm of Johnson and Associates buzzed with its usual energy. Young lawyers rushed between offices, assistants carried towering stacks of files, and at the center of it all sat a young man at a modest desk in the corner with someone everyone called Tommy, the new intern. Nobody knew Tommy was actually Thomas Johnson III himself, disguised in simple clothes and wire-rimmed glasses, working among them to understand his company from the inside. And nobody noticed the elderly cleaning woman who quietly pushed her cart through the halls, her weathered hands gripping the mop handle, her keen eyes watching everything. Mary had arrived. She moved slowly through the marble corridors, emptying trash bins, wiping down surfaces, becoming invisible the way only service workers could be. But she was hunting for authenticity in a world of masks. Out of my way. A sharp voice cut through the morning air. A tall woman in designer heels nearly knocked the cleaning cart over, not even glancing at Mary as she strutted past. Her name tag read Lucy Chen, Senior Associate, and her dismissive sneer spoke volumes. Mary steadied her cart and continued her work, filing away mental notes. Then she saw her son. Tommy sat hunched over his desk, genuinely absorbed in a case file. His disguise was perfect: the slightly rumpled shirt, the nervous way he adjusted his glasses, the humble posture. Even Mary felt proud of his acting. Tommy. Coffee in now. Lucy's voice rang out again. Mary watched as her son, her brilliant, accomplished son, stood without complaint and headed toward the break room. But before he could reach it, someone else intervened. Lucy, he's working on the Morrison brief. I'll get your coffee. Mary's eyes shifted to the young woman who'd spoken. She was perhaps 26, dressed in a simple blouse and skirt that had seen better days, her dark hair pulled back in a practical ponytail. Her name tag read Amelia Torres, legal assistant. Lucy scoffed. Whatever. Just make it strong, unlike your work ethic. Amelia's jaw tightened, but she said nothing. She simply walked to the break room, and Mary followed at a distance, her mop creating wet trails on the polished floor. Inside the break room, Mary watched Amelia lean against the counter for just a moment, closing her eyes and taking a deep breath. There was weariness there, but also strength. You didn't have to do that. Amelia opened her eyes to find Tommy standing in the doorway. She managed a small smile. Lucy was being unreasonable. You have actual work to do. So do you. Yes, but unlike you, I'm already on her bad side. One more mark won't make much difference. Amelia began preparing the coffee. Besides, someone has to look out for the new guy. Tommy smiled, the genuine smile that made Mary's heart warm. Thank you, Amelia. Don't mention it. Literally. Lucy would eat me alive if she knew. As Amelia left with the coffee, Tommy lingered, and Mary saw something in her son's face she hadn't seen in years: hope. But little did Amelia know, the intern she defended was no ordinary man. And the old cleaner mopping in the corner was no ordinary maid. The game had only just begun. A kind heart shines brighter than diamonds, though the world often looks only at gold. Weeks passed, and Mary's investigation deepened. She watched Amelia arrive early each morning, always leaving a simple lunch on Tommy's desk. She saw how Amelia defended him when Lucy mocked his questions, how she stayed late helping others without seeking recognition. One evening, Mary tested her. She deliberately dropped a wallet near Amelia's desk, one leather containing $500 and identification. Amelia found it, counted the money, and Mary watched her face carefully. For just a moment, the young woman stood frozen. $500 was probably half her rent. Then Amelia walked straight to security. "I found this. Can you help locate the owner?" Test passed. Days later, Mary staged another test. She accidentally knocked papers off Amelia's desk, spilling water across her keyboard. "Oh, I'm so sorry," Mary cried. Other associates would have exploded. But Amelia grabbed paper towels. "It's okay, Mrs. Mary, accidents happen. Are you hurt? Did you sleep?" "No, child, I'm fine." "But your papers? Papers can be reprinted." "I'm just glad you're okay." Another test passed. Tammy and Amelia grew closer, sharing lunches and late-night work sessions. Mary saw the way they looked at each other, the lingering glances, the comfortable silences, the laughter that came from genuine connection. One Thursday night, Mary found them in the break room, case files forgotten as Amelia told stories that made Tommy laugh until tears ran down his face. The connection between them was undeniable. But watching from a darkened doorway was Lucy Chen, her face twisted with jealous rage. Danger was coming. When the wind howls, only the strong tree remains standing. Lucy struck without warning. She accessed Amelia's computer during a late meeting, downloaded confidential files, then sent them to a fake email address. Then she reported the breach to management. Security escorted Amelia from her desk the next morning. The young woman's face went pale with shock. "I don't understand," Amelia kept saying. "I would never do this." "The evidence shows files were sent from your computer," the security chief said grimly. "Then someone used my computer. Please, you have to believe me." The office watched with mixed expressions, pity, satisfaction, indifference. Only Tommy stood abruptly, his voice carrying unexpected authority. "This is wrong. Anyone could have accessed her unlocked computer. She stays late helping everyone." Lucy appeared beside him, placing a hand on his arm. "Tommy, the evidence is clear." "Is circumstantial," he interrupted, his tone harder than anyone had heard before. "She deserves a real investigation, not a conviction based on opportunity." But Amelia was suspended anyway. That evening, Mary found her sitting outside the building, staring at nothing. The old woman sat down with a groan. "Hard day, child." Amelia looked up, surprised. "Mrs. Mary. You should be home. Do you want to talk?" "I didn't do what they're saying. But nobody believes me." Amelia's voice cracked. "I worked so hard to get here. And now it's gone." "The truth always rises like cream," Mary said firmly, pulling Amelia into an embrace as the young woman finally broke down. "Hold your head high. You hear me?" While comforting Amelia, Mary was already planning. She'd seen Lucy's computer, found evidence of the setup. But she needed more time to build her case. Then everything shifted. Rumors exploded through the office. Tom Johnson, the billionaire CEO, had bought a $7 million necklace in Paris, the legendary Heart of the Ocean. Speculation ran wild about who would receive such a gift. And into this chaos walked Layla Hawthorne. She swept through the doors like she owned the world, tall, blonde, designer everything, dripping with diamonds. "I'm here to see my husband," she announced. Tom Johnson. The office erupted. Tom Johnson was married. Since when? Layla held court in the conference room, spinning tales of Monaco romance and private weddings. "The necklace. Tom does love to spoil me," she purred mysteriously. Lucy watched with growing horror. Her plan to eliminate Amelia suddenly seemed pointless if Tom already had a wife. And Amelia, hearing the news through frantic texts from colleagues, felt her heart shatter. She'd been foolish to dream. Someone like Tommy, whoever he really was, could never be hers. Her phone buzzed. "Tommy, can we talk? Please." She didn't respond. But that evening, he appeared at her tiny apartment anyway, carrying takeout and wearing an expression she'd never seen before, determined, almost fierce. "You shouldn't be here," she said quietly. "There's something you need to know." He stepped inside. "That woman claiming to be my wife. She's lying. I've never seen her before in my life." "Tommy. My name is Thomas Johnson III. I'm the CEO of the firm." He removed his glasses, straightened his posture, and suddenly he looked completely different, powerful, commanding. "I've been working undercover to understand my company. The woman today is an imposter, but this." He pulled out a velvet box, opening it to reveal the breathtaking Heart of the Ocean necklace. "This was always meant for you." Amelia stared, her world tilting. "I fell in love with you when I had nothing to offer," Tom continued softly. "When you thought I was just an intern. That's how I knew it was real." He placed the necklace around her neck. "You are my only love, Amelia." She touched the jewels with trembling fingers, tears streaming down her face. "And I'm going to prove your innocence," Tom said, his voice hardening. "Lucy set you up. I know it, and I'm going to prove it." The rat that mocks the cat will one day face its claws. The next morning, Tom Johnson walked into his firm as himself for the first time in months. The transformation was stunning: tailored suit, confident stride, unmistakable power. The office fell silent. "All staff meeting," Tom announced. "Main conference room. 20 minutes. Everyone." The conference room filled with nervous energy. Why was the CEO here? Tom began by pulling up security footage on the screen. "For 3 months, I worked among you as Tommy Rodriguez. Some befriended him. Some mocked him. It was educational." Gasps rippled through the crowd. "I witnessed a crime," Tom continued, displaying server logs. Confidential files were stolen. Amelia Torres was blamed, but the real culprit was clever. He clicked to the next image: Lucy at Amelia's desk, timestamp clearly visible, 11:47 p.m. "Miss Chan, explain why you were at Amelia's desk at midnight, accessing files above your clearance level." Lucy went pale, then crimson. "You can't prove." "I have your emails negotiating payment for the stolen files." Tom's voice was ice. "Security, escort Miss Chen out. She's terminated and facing criminal charges." As Lucy was dragged away, protesting, Tom turned to Layla. "And you, Layla Hawthorne, convicted fraud in 3 states. How much did Lucy pay you to play the wife?" Layla's sophisticated mask cracked. "Tom, darling, surely we can discuss. My lawyers will discuss it in court. Remove her." Both women were escorted out as the office watched in stunned silence. "Amelia Torres is reinstated with full back pay and a promotion," Tom announced. She's also the woman I intend to marry if she'll have me. The office erupted in whispers and gasps. Tom found Amelia later, standing in her restored office, looking dazed. "It's over," he said softly. "Lucy and Layla are both facing charges. Your name is cleared." "Why did you do all this?" Amelia asked. "The disguise, the tests, everything. Because I needed to know if people would see me, not my money, not my name, just me." Tom took her hands. "And you did. You saw me when I was nobody." "You were never nobody to me," Amelia whispered. But their moment was interrupted by Mary's urgent call. She'd overheard Layla making threats in the parking garage, "If I can't have him, no one will." Tom's expression darkened. "She's not done yet." Jealousy is a fire that burns its owner's house before touching its enemy. That evening, Tom's penthouse glowed with candlelight. He'd prepared everything perfectly for a celebration until they heard glass breaking in the kitchen. Layla emerged from the shadows, disheveled and unstable, holding a wine bottle. "The happy couple," she slurred. "How touching." "Layla, leave now," Tom commanded. "Security is on the way." "No, they are not." Layla smiled manically. "I just wanted to bring a toast to your happiness." She poured wine into 2 glasses on the counter with deliberate slowness. "We are not drinking anything you've touched," Tom said firmly. Layla's facade cracked. "You took everything from me. Drink it." The door burst open. Mary stood there, breathing hard, with security behind her. "Step away from my son," Mary commanded, her voice carrying absolute authority. Layla spun, startled, knocking over both glasses. Dark red wine spread across the white marble. "You're just a cleaning woman." Layla stammered. "I am Mary Elizabeth Johnson, CEO of Johnson Enterprises. Mother of the man you just threatened." Mary nodded to security. "Call the police." Attempted assault, breaking and entering. As guards restrained Layla, she stared at the spilled wine with growing fear. It wasn't supposed to spill. He was supposed to drink it. The poison would have just made him sick enough to send her away. The police arrived quickly, leading Layla away as she ranted about fairness and destiny. When silence finally fell, Amelia's legs gave out. Tom caught her, holding her tight. "She was going to poison you," Amelia whispered. "But she didn't. We are safe." Tom looked at his mother. "Thanks to you." Mary knelt before them both. "I'm sorry I deceived you, Amelia. But I had to know if you truly loved my son for who he is." "You saved us," Amelia replied. "And you found what you were looking for, someone who sees Tom, not his bank account." They embraced, then Mary felt peace wash over her. Her plan had worked. Her son had found real love. True love is not blinded by wealth nor swayed by beauty. It sees the heart, and there it builds its kingdom. 6 weeks later, Amelia sat in a doctor's office, staring at test results. "Pregnant," she whispered. 6 weeks along. She found Tom in his office. When he read the results, his face transformed with pure joy. "We are having a baby." His voice cracked. Amelia nodded, tears streaming down her face. Tom swept her into his arms, laughing and crying simultaneously. Mary arrived within the hour, letting out a cry of joy that echoed through the penthouse. "A grandchild. This is everything I hoped for." "Call me Mom," Mary said firmly, embracing Amelia. "We are family now." Tom took a deep breath. "There's something I need to tell you both. Amelia, there's a reason I became a lawyer." He moved to the window. "When I was 16, I was bullied relentlessly. It got bad, really bad. One day, in the school counselor's office, a girl sat next to me. A fierce scholarship student who'd gotten in trouble for defending someone. Amelia's breath caught. She told me, "Don't let them win." She said bullies only have power if we give it to them. She told me she wanted to be a lawyer to help people who couldn't help themselves. Tom turned to face Amelia. "That girl was you." "That quiet boy with sad eyes," Amelia whispered, the memory flooding back. "That was you. You saved my life that day. You gave me purpose." Tom's voice was thick with emotion. "I went to law school because of you. I built this farm to find you again and to honor what you taught me, that helping people matters more than accumulating wealth. Our love was written long before," Amelia murmured. "Every choice led me back to you," Tom agreed. Mary watched them, her heart at peace. This was what her disguise had revealed, not just compatible personalities, but a love story that had begun years ago and was always meant to come full circle. Months passed. The farm transformed under Tom and Amelia's leadership, merit-based promotions, mentorship programs, pro bono cases that actually helped people. The culture shifted from cutthroat competition to collaborative justice. Amelia's belly grew, and she became a symbol of what was possible, rising from legal assistant to junior associate to someone Tom consulted on the farm's most important cases. When their daughter Hope was born, Tom held her with tears streaming down his face. "She's perfect." Mary stood beside them, one hand on Tom's shoulder. 3 generations bound by love that had been tested and proven true. "Hope," Amelia said softly. "We'll call her Hope. Because she represents everything good that comes from taking chances and believing in people." 5 years later, Hope sat in her father's office, building blocks while her parents worked. "Mama, what does justice mean?" the little girl asked. "It means making sure everyone is treated fairly, even if they're different or have less than we do," Amelia explained. "Like when I share my toys." "Exactly like that. You're very smart." "I know," Hope said matter-of-factly, making everyone laugh. Mary visited often, no longer in disguise but as herself, elegant, sharp, deeply involved in the farm's scholarship foundation that bore Amelia's name. One day, Rosa, the night cleaner whose daughter they'd helped, visited to share news. "Carolina graduated law school. Top of her class. Because of your scholarship." Amelia embraced her, both women crying happy tears. "Where will she work?" "Here, if you'll have her. She wants to help people like you do." "We would be honored," Tom said warmly. That evening, leaving the office with Hope chattering between them, Tom paused at the threshold. "Just taking it in," he explained to Amelia. "This life we've built. I never want to forget how lucky I am." "We found each other twice," Amelia said softly. "Once as kids, again as adults. How many people can say that?" As they walked through the halls, greeting the night cleaning crew by name, asking about their families, one older cleaner named Rosa smiled at them. "You two give me hope," she said. "My daughter wants to be a lawyer. I tell her about you, Miss Amelia. I say, see. It can happen." "What's your daughter's name?" Amelia asked. "Carolina." "Have her send me her information. Let's talk about our scholarship program." Rosa's eyes filled with tears. "You would do this?" "That's what this farm is for," Tom said. "Finding brilliant people and giving them chances." Later that night, Hope asked her grandmother about the toy broom Mary had given her. "Once upon a time," Mary explained, "I dressed as a cleaning lady to teach your daddy something important, that the people we often ignore are just as valuable as CEOs and lawyers. Sometimes more valuable, because they haven't forgotten how to be kind. So this is to remember to be kind." Hope held the broom carefully. Exactly, my brilliant girl. Mary kissed her head. Never forget that what matters isn't money or fancy clothes. It's how you treat people, all people. I won't forget, Grandma, Hope promised. Tom and Amelia watched this exchange, knowing the cycle was complete. The lessons had been learned, lived, and were being passed to the next generation. As they prepared to leave, Tom looked back at his office, at the photos on walls, the case files of people they'd helped, the evidence of work that truly mattered. We are both lucky, Amelia said. We found each other when it counted most. They walked out together, a family bound not by wealth or status, but by something far more powerful, genuine love that had survived every test. And in the halls behind them, the night crew continued their work, no longer invisible but seen, valued, and respected, because sometimes wisdom really does enter dressed in rags, and truth hides behind the most unexpected doors. The kingdom they'd built together stood on a foundation of kindness, and it would endure for generations to come.